Oh, good day, dear viewer of this video. My name is Pantelia Schwitzera, and I am the commentator of the Conspiracy show where we discuss the conspiracy. Okay, uh, precisely, mo- more more precisely said, it is the show where I comment on conspiracy things. Oh yeah. So today we have the article named Cosmic Lottery made by Scott Onstott from United States of America. Okay. So I will read this article and I will comment and make comments and opinions uh, about this article. Okay, it is simple as that. Okay, so show can begin. Okay. Okay. Physics physicist physicist Max Tegmark has identified 32 dimensionless ratios that are based properties of reality in his thought-provoking book Our Mathematical Universe, My Quest for the Ultimate Nature of Reality. These are 32 pure numbers from which every other fundamental constant of nature can be theoretically divided. Interesting. In this illustration, I depicted these parameters and added the missing on-off switch, bringing the grand total of controls needed to mathematically define a universe up to the magic 33. Okay, so Scott collected these parameters and put it here in some universal controller. Okay, and here we see the 33 controls that must be turned to create our universe. Okay, so Scott put the 32 parameters, okay, and he added one. I do not know why he had added one, but let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32. Okay, so we have here the 32. 8 times 4 is 32. And we have here the additional 33rd controller with the terms on and off written on it, on that controller. Okay, these knobs must be so incredibly finely tuned to create a universe, let alone a universe capable of supporting life, that we have truly won the cosmic lottery. Okay, so interesting. We have the 33 controls here. Okay, and those controls are described in Max Tegmark's book. I personally didn't read that book, but it seems that it contains the 32 dimensionless ratios that are basic properties of reality. Okay, so we have the 32 dimensionless ratios, and ratio is the mathematical term. Okay, it is something from the mathematics, and actually that ratios are 32 pure numbers pure numbers from which every other fundamental fundamental constant of nature can be derived theoretically. Interesting. So we have the 32 pure numbers or ratios, and from that we can derive the every other fundamental constant of nature. Okay, I personally didn't read this book. I didn't read it, but I didn't read it. Okay, but I believed Scott. Okay, and it is resting here. It seems that that book is interesting. Okay. So I will continue. I will continue with what Tegmark said in his book. How far could you rotate the dark energy knob before the moment? The current setting of the knob corresponding to the dark energy density we have actually measured is about 10 on minus 27 kilograms per cubic meter, which is almost ridiculously close to zero compared to the available range. The natural maximum value for the dial is a dark energy density around 10 at 97 kilograms per cubic meter, which is when the quantum fluctuations fill space with tiny black holes, and the minimum value is the same with a minus sign in front. If rotating the dark energy knob by a full turn would vary the density across the full range, then the actual knob setting for our universe is about 10 on minus 122. Okay, the actual knob setting for our universe is about 10 on minus 123, interesting, of a turn away from the halfway point. That means that if you want to tune the knob to allow galaxies to form, you have to get the angle by which you rotate it right to over 120 decimal places. Okay, so you see here that 120 is important number. Okay, and this everything is correct if the Earth is not concave. Okay, again, like I talked about in my previous video, if the Earth is concave, then we have problem with these sentences here. Okay, if the electromagnetic force were weakened by a mere 4%, then the sun would immediately explode explode as its hydrogen fused into so-called diprotons and an otherwise non-existent kind of neutron-free helium. If it were significantly strengthened, previously stable atoms such as carbon and oxygen would radioactively decay away. If the so-called weak nuclear force were substantially weaker, there would be no hydrogen around, since it would all have been converted to helium shortly after our Big Bang. If it were either much stronger or much weaker, the neutrinos from a supernova explosion would fail to blow away the outer parts of the star, and it's doubtful whether life-supporting heavier elements such as iron would ever be able to leave the stars where they were produced and end up in planets such as Earth. Okay, all these sentences have some scientific meaning, and I believe everything here. But okay, I again ask Scott, and I ask everyone who is interested in this subject. What about the concave Earth? Okay. now I will continue. If electrons were much lighter, okay, uh, there there could be no stable stars, and if they were much heavier, there could be no ordered structures such as crystals and DNA molecules. If protons were 0.2% heavier, they would decay into neutrons unable to hold on to electrons, so there would be no atoms. If they were instead much lighter, then neutrons inside of atoms would decay into protons, so there would be no stable atoms except for hydrogen. Indeed, the proton mass depends on another knob that has a very wide range of variation and needs to be fine-tuned to 33 decimal decimal places to get any stable atoms other than hydrogen. Many of these fine-tuning examples were discovered in the 70s and 80s by Paul Davies, Brendan Carter, Bernard Carr, Martin Rees, John Barrow, Frank Tipler, Steven Weinberg, and other physicians. And more examples just kept turning up. Okay, so here, according to our quantum physics, all this is the truth. So if electrons were much lighter, then we wouldn't have our Earth, our place where we live today. If the electromagnetic force were weakened by a mere 4%, then our reality would not be in the position to exist. Okay, so you see that everything is set in nature for us, so we can actually speak and actually make these kind of, and I now can make these kind of videos. Okay, everything is set, so humanity can live, can breathe, can die, and can be in life. Okay, it is interesting. Of course, it is interesting that we are actually live, and quantum physics and quantum physicians can tell you or can tell me that we are live because we are alive. Earth is alive because we are lucky, because of the luck. We are just lucky, and pardon, we are lucky and we are alive. Okay, if we were not lucky, then we wouldn't be alive. Okay, everything starts with the Big Bang. According to quantum physics. Okay, according to quantum physics, and we are alive here because we are lucky. Okay, that is the paradigm here. That is the theory here. Okay, so I will continue with this article to see what is written here. That is also interesting to think about and to comment on. Okay, so the next sentences are: the moon and the sun constitute further proof we passengers on spaceship Earth are winners. There is nothing in physics that says the moon and the sun must appear the same size in our skies. In fact, our moon is the only satellite in our system that even comes close to doing this. It is truly amazing that the moon and sun disks match up, and they will not forever, as the moon is slowly moving away from the earth. We won the cosmic lottery again. Okay, so in the sense of protons, in the sense of electromagnetic force, we won the cosmic lottery. And now again, when we see the moon and when we see the sun and the fact that their disks match up, we again won the cosmic lottery. It is interesting, it is impressive, it is incredible, but now we live in those times. Okay, it seems that we live in the times we live in the times when we won the cosmic lottery. Maybe in future, after some thousand of years pass away, we will not be lucky. Okay, but only if it is true if the earth is not if earth is not concave or flat. Okay, it seems that we won the cosmic lottery, but only if you accept the Big Bang theory. Okay, then we are the winners. Okay, but if the earth is flat or if the earth is concave, then we are not the winners. Then we are then the luck is not important. Then we have other questions and problems that we must ask, like for example where is the God, why we live in the concave earth, why we live in the flat earth, if the flat is truthful theory, etc. Okay, but for now I will continue with this article, and I will speak about the cosmic lottery. And cosmic lottery, okay, is the situation where we are the winners, but also if the quantum physics is the truth, and if the astronomy now is in 2015 is the truthful and honest science. Okay, now I will continue. A look at any total solar eclipse is proof of the astronomically unlikely situation that the sun is 400 times larger than the moon and 400 times rather away from Earth than the moon. Okay, this what is written here is written by Scott Onstott. Tegmark finished his speech in previous in this post here. Okay, so Scott here claims that sun is 400 times larger than the moon and 400 times farther away from Earth than the moon. You see here that number 400 here is interesting. That is, it is mentioned twice. And in the conspiratorial meaning, in the conspiratorial sense, I can say that here number 4 and number 400 is important. Okay, so now I will continue with the article. Okay, Scott discovered another such symmetry in the orbital dynamics of Moon and Earth, During one orbit around the Sun, Earth actually rotates around its own axis 366.3 times. The Moon orbits the Earth in 27.3 days. Of course, a day is one Earth rotation on its own axis. 366.3 times 27.3 is 9,999.99. Okay, so the number of rotation, Earth actually rotates 366.3 times 27.3, and the Moon, the number or the days that Moon orbits in which the Moon orbits the Earth give us the number 9,999.99. Okay, so I can see here that number 9 is important, and according to my experience, 9 is in this situation is connected to number 6. And when I look at these nines, when I look at 9999.99, it is the same as I see the 6666.66. Okay, I see here the some type of hidden meaning and some type of hidden information, and I do not know what type of information, but I see here, and for me it is the proof that number 9 is important, and also the number 6 here is important. Okay, I here see that the mark of the beast or 666 is important and have some connection with the orbit of Moon and with the days the Moon orbits the Earth, and of course number 66, in my opinion, have connection with the Earth rotation. Okay, and because of that connection I can suspect that and I can ask if the Earth is really a convex or is it a concave. Okay, now I will continue. At the same time, the Earth is 366.3% the diameter of the Moon, and the Moon is 27.3% the diameter of Earth. Okay, if this is not fascinating and incredible to you, then I do not know what is incredible to you and in your life. Okay, okay, I'm just kidding a little, but it is incredible that at the same time the Earth is 366.3% the diameter of the Moon, and the Moon is 27.3% the diameter of Earth. Okay, so here we see that number 366.3 is mentioned 2 times, is mentioned twice. Okay, and the number 27.3 is mentioned twice. Okay, so those 2 numbers seems really interesting, and seems that they have some hidden meaning, and seems that they are important in our conspiracy research. Okay, interesting. However, 366.3% times 27.3% is 0.99999. Interesting. Okay, here we have the picture that explains our situation with those 2 numbers. 1 divided by 27.3 is 0.03663. Diameter of Earth divided by diameter of Moon is 3.66.3, and that is 99.19.9% correct. Okay, and here we see 27.3 times 366.3. I spoke about previously about that. Okay, on the right side you see 1 divided by 366.3 is 0.00273. Okay, so you see here that 273 is repeated here for the third time. Okay, and here we got the results in Earth and Moon diameter. We got the result 3.663, and previously we have the number 366. So here we for the third time find the number 366, but in another form, or another shape. Okay. Okay. On the right side, the diameter of Moon divided by diameter of Earth, we get the 0.273, and for the fourth time we have the number. We got the number 27.3, but okay, we got the number 27 and 3, but that is actually the number 27.3 in some other form, in some other shape. Okay, really interesting. For the fourth time we got this number. Okay, now I will continue with the slides. To better understand why the Earth rotates more times than there are days in the year, watch this clear explanation. Okay, how can it be that the Earth and Moon are in a reciprocal mathematical relationship in terms of number of rotations and in the pure ratios of diameters? Okay, so Scott asks, how about it can how can it be? How can it be? Really, how can it be? How can it be? How can it be? How can it be? This question is good for all the scientists in the world. This question explains one thing, and tell us one thing. This question here and these facts about the rotation and diameters that I spoke about recently in this video tells us that scientists are not honest, and I never noticed that some scientist asks the question that here Mr. Scott Onstott asks. How can it be? That question about this particular subject is never asked on television, is never asked on in the medias, among the scientists. And remember that we live in the 21st century, in the modern technologically advanced times, and I never saw even one scientist that asked, how can it be that the Earth and Moon are in a reciprocal mathematical relationship in terms of number of rotations and in the pure ratios of diameters? That question I never saw, and that because of that fact, that question is never asked, tells me that science is not completely honest, and I think that science is not telling us the complete truth about our reality. So I must make those kind of conspiracy shows, and I must speak to you about this problem, because as you can see, uh, uh, and from my personal experience, I never found out that some scientists asks how can it be. Okay, because of that, and because of other questions that should be asked by scientists, I can say that science is not completely correct, and is not completely truthful, and do not want to tell the complete truth. And I think that science is hiding some information for itself, for herself, for itself. Okay. Now I will continue with the article. Okay. Here we see the balls from lottery. Okay. The combined diameter of all the planets in our solar system is 10 times greater than the Earth's circumference. Okay. This has astonishingly high accuracy at 99.99%. As we don't know the combined diameters of all the planets with more than 99.99% accuracy, this relationship might in fact be exact. It is a powerful argument for the primacy of base 10. Number 10 is important here, and the number 10 times pi can be found in combined diameters of all the planets in our solar system, when we exclude the planet Pluto. Okay, but that is another video. I talked about that in another video. Okay. It is the mark of an instructed mind to rest satisfied with the degree of precision which the nature of the subject admits, and not to seek exactness when only an approximation of the truth is possible. Said Aristotle. Okay. We won the cosmic lottery yet again, against astronomical odds. What are we not understanding? God, aliens, conspiracy, randomness, and or triviality are unsatisfying explanations to me. These major secrets, placed so obviously in plain sight, make me feel like humanity is destined to understand the deeper implications. Many more such symmetries are wonderment are in my most recent book, The Divine Proportion. In my most recent book, The Divine Proportion, the Divine Proportion, the Divine Proportion, the Divine Proportion, the Divine Proportion. Okay. The Divine Proportion, 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 the Divine Proportion. Okay. And here we have some picture made by Scott. C is circumference here is 40,069.9 kilometers, okay, and here combine the distance of diameters of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune is 1400,000 and 699 kilometers. Okay, so we see here that number 400699 appears 2 times here. Really incredible thing, incredibly thing. Really, I am amazed. I do not know what to do now, because I am amazed with this simple fact. Okay. Okay, I didn't check this, of course, but I believe the Scott. I know Scott, and I believe him. And maybe I will check this personally, but other things that I checked personally are correct. I checked some of the things that Scott Onstott researched, and I can say that his calculations were correct. Okay. And now it is the time for comments. Moshia said, I can provide you with several other mathematical spot-on numbers that are beyond chance. Feel free to contact me. Please do share. Inquiring minds want to know. Anonymous, there are a few I like to mention, but before I do, I need to say that all this comes from an ancient book, and this book reveals a structure upon which all is woven. One of several measures given is the cubit, which in itself holds sacred secrets. But that is for another time. You will know an often mentioned number 432 and 432,000, but where does it come from? The zodiac cycle. 25,090 as the length of the circle divided by pi, 3.1416, is 8.250, 8,250.57 etc. A meaningless number by the looks of it, until one knows they are qubits. So simply by 52.36 and you get so multiply by 52.36 and you get 432,000. Okay, interesting suggestion. Okay. So here we have the connection between the zodiac cycle and the number pi, and with the number 432. Okay, but we have the connection if we use the qubits as the type of measurement. Okay, interesting, really interesting. I didn't check this, but maybe I will check this later. But it seems interesting. But this is just a fraction of what the structure reveals. Universal constants, what the structure reveals, universal constants, etc. And much more. Said Mushia. Thank you, Mushia, for your observation. Okay. 0.5236 meters is an interesting number. I discovered this relationship. Pi divided by phi squared all on 3 feet is approximately pi minus 3 squared meters. Okay, the Royal Egyptian cubit is approximately this same distance, 0.5236 meters or 1.718 feet. I think the cubit is precisely expressed as 6 divided by 5 times 3 feet or 1.728 feet exactly. Okay, here I can tell you that I noticed that cubit can be expressed as 6 divided by 5. Okay, so you see here that number 6 and 5 is important, and most importantly the relationship between 6 and 5. 6 divided by 5, that divide term is important here, and later I will maybe speak about the number 6 and 5, so you can learn more about it. 25,920 times 0.33 etc is 8,640. Pardon, times 0, yes, times 0.33 etc. Okay, number 868,640 is important number. Jay said, if you are not aware, I would be surprised if you are not. You might also factor in the sacred cubit 25.2. You might also factor in the sacred cubit. Okay. I do not understand what he thought, but okay. Victor said 432,000 hours is 25,920,000 minutes. Interesting. Okay. So we have here the number 25,000 again. Okay. I'm sorry, we do not have again that number, but that number is important. I think that number is important. Okay. Yes, we have that. I'm now lost in numbers, but that number is important. Okay. However, you see that numbers are connected one with another. Okay, Chris said, good to see you posting again, Scott. Amazing stuff as always. On a side note, have you or anyone else calculated the statistical odds of some of the coincidences you have found? I don't know how to calculate the odds. Anyone? The best place to hide anything is in plain view, said Edgar Allan Poe. Wonderful new post and news of new book, Scott. Much to sink one's teeth into. Moshia said, before I give you one of many, I will need to mention a few things. One, all this is written down in code and found in an ancient manuscript. It gives a structure upon which matter is woven, so to speak. Secondly, there are measures given which are constants and measures given one, that is the cubit 0.5236 or 52.36, which holds many sacred secrets on its own, but that for another time. You might have heard of the number 432, or, but where does it come from? I don't mean the text of the Vedas etc, but let me move on the great year of okay. excuse me, here the number 25,920 is the number connected with the great year. Okay, with the with the term great year, so that number is connected with the number 432. Okay, then we have the connection here. As length of cycle or circle divided by pi, uh, uh, 3 or 6 times 0.5236. Okay, Moshe continues. 25,000 divided by 3.14 is yes, he again here I see I talked about this comment previously. This links up to everything else in reply. It's so vast and complete and a bridge to all branches of science. Okay. The cubit, a cube and sphere of same diameter, volume difference. Volume sphere 8 times cubit. But be careful, do not judge with numbers. There is one and only one structure from which they spring. Eliphas Levi said, "He who joins the hexagram and pentagram has solved half of the sacred secret." Okay, I do not understand here these calculations from number 27.2 text from that number to 7 times cubit times 27.28. I don't understand what Moshe is talking about. Okay, then said saucer balls are made up of hexagrams and pentagrams. Jesus was the physical embodiment representation of the Son of God, which is expressed as the six-pointed star. The hexagram is form, the pentagram is spirit. The hexagram is form, interesting. The pentagram is spirit. The cube is form. The Trinity is a mystery. The circle is one. The Trinity is a mystery. The circle is one. When done correctly, its circumference will be the value of Holy Spirit. It collects in pairs the animals. I was thinking with 88. The ark was built. I don't understand what. I don't understand what is written here. Maybe I have problems with the picture. However, I will continue with the comments. The standard, the most common form of the pentagram ritual involves first the tracing of the circle, then transforming oneself as a cross of light. The cross is of course an unfolded cube, and it connects with Saturn, Bina, and the tarot card the lovers, which connects to Tiferet Sun. The hexagram on Saturn's north pole can also be viewed as a cube, thus the mystery of the 4 into the 6, which relates to the form aspect. Then the tracing of a pentagram to the 4 corners elements, culminating in imagining oneself in the star double tetrahedron. The word, however, is always silent. Okay, so seems that the pentagram and the hexagram mystery involves the Jewish occult teachings, involves planet Saturn, tarot cards. Interesting. How, however, all this is interesting. Okay, Moshe said something. Okay, some calculations here. Tree of knowledge seems important. Okay. Then said Martin Armstrong calculates the business cycle amongst other economic cycles using pi. Interesting. So economy or economics use pi, number pi. Interesting, really. You mentioned eclipses there, Scott. Did you know that on December 22nd, 2014, 2014 was 2014 was the beginning of the new metatonic calendar, which is almost exactly 19 years, where the moon and sun always align at galactic center. Then there is the 18.6-year lunar standstill, where the moon's declination reached a nadir on January 2016, thus starting a new cycle. This is why we have the 18-year 11-day eclipse cycle. Okay, I'm a little tired. I hope I will continue. I will finish with this soon. Brent said, a mention of a book I read in an old post here seemed to result in you going out and checking it out before the pyramids. Very exciting. For other readers of this site, I would recommend 5 books exploring the ancient megalithic culture. Okay, these 5 books are here before the pyramids: Ethiopian Book of Enoch, Uriel's Machine, Civilization 1, Who Built the Moon. Okay, Scott, after this said, on the subject of the cosmic lottery, I recommended reading the Privileged Planet by Gonzalez and Richards, and the Cosmic Blueprint by Paul Davies. Okay, those books are important here when you want to research, if you want to research the cosmic lottery mystery. Those books are important, and Brent said, we'll do things. And this is the end of our program. I hope I was interesting enough. I hope I was understandable, even if I have my little bad English. Little bad, even if I have bad version of English language, I hope you can understand me. Okay, if you have some comments, write to me. Okay, if you like my video, press the like button. Okay, and that would be all. Have a nice day. I just can say you that today is 1st of November when I record this video, and it is the year 2015. It is about 22 hours in the evening. Okay, and that would be all. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening to me, and I hope you now understand a little more the mystery about the cosmic lottery, and you understand more the Scott Onstott's research. Okay, tried to comment on on this article. Okay, and maybe later I will speak more in detail when I collect more informations. Then I will put some interesting informations on YouTube, so you can see how different researchers speak about the same things. They actually speak about the same things, and also I will speak about my opinion about those informations. Okay, so later I will make some video where I in detail present to you different informations, different numbers, different important informations from conspiracy researchers all around the world that I follow, that I research, that I investigate. So that would be all. Thank you for watching, and I can say to you to have a nice day, and bye bye. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Goodbye.